Welcome to Whaler Talk, hosted by the Hartford Whalers Booster Club. I'm Jerry Irwin with Peter Hindle from theexaminer.com, and tonight we have CB Townsley joining us from Cromwell, Connecticut, and the Cromwell Free, was it?
Radio Free Cromwell.
Radio Free Cromwell. So we're happy to have him here with us, and he's a huge Whaler fan, and going to talk about some of his experiences. A lot going on. You know, today we're on, it's January 15th, 2013, brand new year. A lot going on in the city. We talk about the XL Center bid, Rensselaer's field bid, all these players within the community. Hartford Alliance, the breakfast my son and I went to, Sean and I went to that breakfast the other day. What about you? What are you up to with theexaminer.com? And
I've been checking out. We had a pretty good meeting at the Booster Club, and Carl is also a member of the Booster Club, where we had Howard Baldwin come to us at Vaughn's and talk to us a little bit about how he feels things are shaping up. We know the XL Center bids are within weeks to be announced. You know, we know that there's a possibility that the mayor had a couple days ago somebody approach him about an NHL team.
The governor.
The governor. Apologize, the governor. You know, he said he was approached by somebody, kind of generally asking him about Connecticut's acceptance of a relocation. I thought it sounded like, but it could be expansion. It could be anything. But you know, Carl is a longtime Whalers fan. He believes in this market, and you know, we'd like to hear what you think about the possibility.
First of all, enjoy being on your show. Here was our show. I got to get you back on our new show, actually, which is going to be Pirate Radio on TV. We'll be ceasing the Radio Free Cromwell.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
So switching to something slightly edgier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we definitely want to have both of you on, and we will be discussing Whalers talk with you guys until the day comes. Not so sure if I'm as sold on the community as I am on you guys and on the people out there, the people we've met through the last 20 years. Since I've been in Connecticut, and even in the last umpteen years since the Whalers have left, you guys keeping the Booster Club going with Al Victor and all the people, not just to forget anybody that's involved, Marty Estovic and the whole crowd. It's a pleasure to be part of that that movement, and the people is what's going to bring it back.
And really, that's really, you know, you touched on a very important part when we look at the future of hockey, whether it's under the AEG umbrella, whether it's a new tenant, or not new tenant, but a new operation in the XL Center. It's really about the people. And, you know, once these sports markets realize that, you know, it's not about the glitz, the glamour, it's about the poor schmucks that are out there walking, making the money to come and spend money on their tickets. You know, that's the most important part. We saw the Baldwins and Whaler Sports get out there and really try to switch the market and get it ramped up again with the logos, the green, the brass bonanza. They did really well with attendance. We talked about it in previous shows. It's not like they really didn't capture the market. I think they captured the market. And am I a little biased? Yeah, I am a little biased. But you know what? This year there's been a huge decrease in attendance. I don't know if that's because AEG is, and again, I didn't confirm this, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that, but they're not spending as much as they initially said they were going to spend on advertising or so on. But even the Baldwins towards the end didn't have any money because of what happened to them financially. So, you know, I'm sure AEG is hurting just like the Baldwins were hurting, and now you have I think it was a 28% decrease in attendance.
Yeah, actually, it's I mean, it's shaping up now where it's so bizarre, because in 2009 and 10 they had the lowest season ever, and if things are heading this way, they're going to break that record, unfortunately, and that's not good for Hartford.
No, it's not.
It's not good for the AHLs, and it's certainly not good for the NHL.
Absolutely not.
Prospects of a team returning. So, you know, it's just kind of looking at, you know, what are the options? What's going to happen? I mean, unfortunately, we just don't know anything until we know who wins this bid. Then we can try to put some pieces together and see, you know, is it going to be a company that's geared towards marketing more towards hockey? AEG has done a fantastic job with bringing in concerts and things along those lines. They brought in acts that the casinos would kill for, probably. You know, Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift, you know, Justin Bieber. Those are all big, huge acts. But I just don't know if they see the value in the hockey market here. And I think that there is, you know, value in the hockey market here.
Well, you know, you think back, and you know, I was once we realized the Whalers were gone and they were off to North Carolina. Those years right after the leaving of the Whalers was huge. You had Terry Virtue on the Wolfpack, and you know, everyone, you have the Whaler fans that don't like the Rangers, they don't like the Wolfpack, they don't like this, they don't like that. Well, if you look at the attendance back then, and those were big years. Again, it shows the hockey market when it's properly advertised, when it's properly funded, right. And you look at who was running the XL Center back then, right. And you know, AEG has been there, yeah. And they ran a good market. I don't know if the flavor for hockey's gone. I don't know, like Mark Wallon said, that the market is fragmented so badly, yeah. that we have to rebuild the market. And I think Whaler Sports tried that with the rebranding and bringing back that traditional green and Whaler stuff. But when you look at it, we really have a lot of work to do, and hopefully the city and the state are committed to bringing or keeping hockey here first of all, right. And then building something new or refurbishing the XL Center.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to mention one thing. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Carl, but Jerry, maybe you either. I went to the UConn game last night where they played Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
And they had roughly, I'm going to guesstimate, it was probably about the same as the rebrand night. It was like 13,000, something along that line. And there was a lot of young kids. And there was a crowd there that's not coming to Whale games, and that was the kind of the over 50 crowd. They were there. They were spending money. They were cheering. Everybody was into the game. It was pretty loud. It wasn't as loud as it used to be with the Whalers, but it was still pretty loud. And I said to myself, I know this is basketball, and I know hockey's different, and I get that. But you can't tell me that those people, if there wasn't something that they felt that was theirs or something that they were getting from going to the games.
I think you hit the nail on the head, because really what it is, coming from Columbus, big college town, that was always a difficult thing for professional teams to make their way into the market. UConn's not going anywhere. They have their fan base, and of course they came off a big win against Notre Dame, playing Louisville, you know, big name, big marquee type of setup. But having said that, the hockey fan is special. As you guys know, I don't have to preach this to you guys.
Absolutely.
What Howard has done for hockey in Hartford is legendary. He brought, you know, we were there for the Connecticut Well rebranding. The puck reminds me, the only Wolfpack game I can remember going to was a playoff game. And it was finally because my co-host John and I just got tired of boycotting it. We were not happy about the Ranger affiliation. We were not happy how the exit thing went. Can I tell a quick story about the puck?
Sure, absolutely.
Go ahead.
That's why I bought it, to tell you a story.
We've got to hear stories.
There's always got to be a great story when you have a hockey puck.
Yeah.
So this is my hockey story. Getting two-fisted with the beers before watching the warm-ups. I think they were playing Manchester. It's really irrelevant. Coming down the stairs, and we're up in the nosebleed seats. This is before the days of the netting. You know, the incident in Columbus, in fact. Unfortunately, was what brought the netting into the NHL and the AHL. Guy lifted a puck. I see it flying, hits a chair, does a somersault. No, I'm 2 aisles away from seats, and John's looking back for his beer. I look up, and here it comes right towards my forehead. Decision time, right? You got two beers, which weren't $8 beers, I might mention, which is about 30, but they were, you know, costly. So maybe $10 investment or my head. What does CB do? Take it right off the noggin.
Take it for the
team.
Didn't
drop an ounce of beer. Delivered it. Puck lands on the ground. I pick it up, handed it to John, and said, I'm hurt.
You get stitches?
You think it was personal?
No, no stitches.
There's just a lump.
Just rattled some more memories in my brain. But anyway, that's my tough guy hockey story.
You think it was personal? You know?
Well, it's funny. Just before all this scenario, you know how the guys warm up on the ice without the helmets? They one of the Wolfpack guys wiped out his own guy behind the net. You guys have seen it before. It's a horrible shot. It was a face shot, blood squirting everywhere.
Oh, man, wow.
And I remember saying, "Oh man, I'm glad that didn't happen to me."
There you go, huh?
But, that's pretty interesting.
But that was my. And I'll be honest, I was one of the many that I was in no interest in going to Wolfpack games. Having said that, we have Bob Crawford in Cromwell with Champions Rink. What a great job he's done. He's been a host rink for the Wolfpack and the Whale.
So he's also a member of the Bushnell Park Foundation as well.
Exactly. And I think, Jerry, you hit it when you said a fragmented fan base, because that's exactly what it is. So it's a tear, it's a pull.
It's almost like, here's the hockey. You know what? No. And you know, after a while, people get sick of being, lack of a better term, jerked around. And, you know, I'm not blaming any specific person, any specific organization. It's what Hartford has created. And I do blame Hartford. I do blame the state for not jumping on board to get us back on track. You know, the governor, the mayor, they have every right to make us a major league city again. Whether it's a major league AHL city or a Major League NHL city.
Right.
There is no reason that anybody should be boycotting any games.
Right.
Listen, I'm a Whaler fan until the day I die, and you know what? I will go to hockey games because hockey is important to me. This nonsense of people getting angry because the Whalers are gone. The Whalers have been gone 15 years. You want to get on board? Get on board, join the Booster Club, voice your opinion, get out there, show your Whaler brand. That's the way it is. Enough of this nonsense.
And you guys are a lot of fun. By the way, the last hockey game I went to, you guys were there, the Danbury Whalers.
Yes.
Oh, that's
You know,
right.
so
Yes.
the Booster Club has a great time.
Yes,
Just being around the
and we had
the
Herb
guys.
Sorcher on here,
Yep.
and he really did a great job
That's true.
with
Yeah.
that.
Everybody we
So-
run to is just been great. We met a lot of great people. You know, there's just getting involved and seeing how many different people that actually care about hockey in Hartford. Like you mentioned, Bobby Crawford, who's done tremendous things for hockey in Hartford, and he was on your show when
He's
I
on
was
our
there.
show a couple times. in the past. Bob's always been very gracious.
He
this
is.
time.
He
And
really is,
and
and
that's
he's one
great.
of the key players in the Bushnell's bid, which is now called the Capital Sports and Entertainment Group, I guess. And he could be one of those key guys because you know that he'll at least push hockey in Hartford, and he'll be their hockey guy.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's-
if they get the bid, of course.
Sure,
but-
and you know, when you look at it, and we're going to go to a break in a minute to show some highlights. When we come back, we have a brand new window decal that we have to show you. It's going to be sold at the XL Center, at our table on a concourse. I think you're really going to like it, and when we come back from our break, I think you'll get a kick out of what we put together.
Can we talk about your bumper sticker when we come back? I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. That gets a lot of people cheering behind me or whatever. I had a motorcycle guy with a big ass beard, and he was like, and he's like, he goes by, he's like, I'm like, all right. Well, we'll be back right after this highlight. We'll check you in a few minutes.
His finest season as he led the club in goal scoring, notching 40 goals for the first time in his career. Dineen was at his best in clutch situations as the Whalers won 77% of the games Dineen scored in, but only 48% when Dineen was scoreless. Dineen was named the Whalers American Express Man of the Year for his commitment to help various charities in the Hartford area, and was voted the Connecticut National Bank favorite Whaler by the fans. The award symbolized just how valuable Dineen is to the Hartford area, and his feats on the ice were a testament to his value to the team. Overall, the team had balanced scoring, as 8 players had 20 or more goals. In fact, 7 Whalers enjoyed their best ever NHL seasons. Offensively, Ron Francis, Kevin Dineen, Paul Lawless, and Dean Evison had their best years. On the defense, it was Ulf Samuelsson, Dana Merzen, and Scott Kleinendorst. Mike Liut was the showstopper. He led the league in shutouts and, along with Steve Weeks, consistently provided the Whalers a boost with his strong goaltending. Liut was voted the Whalers Booster Club MVP, and, in a vote of his teammates, the player's most valuable player. Liut won his 200th NHL game when the Whalers beat the Bruins 6-3 in Boston on January 29th. No divisional championship team would be complete without strong goaltending, and Mike Liut and Steve Weeks provided it. If the NHL schedule was changed to 12 months of hockey, the first player to sign up would be Ulf Samuelsson. Full of youthful exuberance that stems from his love for the game, Samuelsson played each game like it was his last. He led the team with a +29.
Welcome back to Whaler Talk. I hope you enjoyed the great highlight from back in '86-'87 when we had all those people in the XL Center, and actually it was the Civic Center back then. Frank Russo, who was running the XL Center back then, is part of the group trying to vie for it again. But before we get to that, I'm going to show you the new decals that are available at the concourse at our table at the Connecticut Whale Games. This is our team. So this is your window decals, and you can pick them up on the concourse at the Connecticut Whale Games.
Yeah, it's a
so
really
what do you
nice,
think? You like that?
Oh, it's a great little design.
It is.
You know, it brings back, and really by doing that, we're just trying to get the logo out there, and
it's our
you know,
team.
Yeah, it is our
team.
team.
How better to put it than it's
Right.
our
It says
team.
it all.
To get
it
back
does.
into the NHL, to bring back
You good,
this
Bob?
team.
You good with that? All right, perfect. Thanks, Bob. So,
Yeah,
Kind of
to-
sad, Jerry. It's our team, but if I remember right, I think Peter informed me that we lost the naming rights during the summer.
not necessarily true.
necessarily.
Yeah, we're not really sure because you know we do know that the state had the rights when I think when Carmanos left left the logo here. But then there was something about, I think Dennis House had put it out there that the patent had expired on the logo or something to that effect.
Well, what came out in the conversation when Peter Good and Jack Lardis were here, Peter Good being the designer of the logo, owns the copyright for that logo. The NHL owns the trademark. From the legal people I've spoken to, the trademark holds more water than the copyright. So whoever holds that trademark at the time now has all the power.
Oh.
It trumps the copyright. But from what Peter was talking about, it sounds like the two entities are using their legal services to fight it out. Okay. And Peter sounded, pretty confident. So we'll have to see that. Peter and Jack are great friends of the Booster Club. Gave us that wonderful lithograph of the logo.
Yeah.
So when you get into what could have been, we talked about before going on the air tonight. Mr. Karmanos bought the team. It's his business. People get all irritated, and yeah, we were irritated too. I think we were just hurt that he was taking his business somewhere else. We don't know who did what. There's speculation that the governor at the time didn't do enough, or Karmanos just didn't like the people of Hartford. I talked to people that work for Mr. Karmanos, and they say he's a wonderful boss. So when you talk to people who work with him and say he's a good boss and gave a great deal of money to him and spent a lot of money on the rings when they won the Stanley Cup, so now you hear from people that work for him.
Most people say nice things about their boss, at least when it's going to be on there.
Well, the money he spent, I would say nice things too.
I'll talk about mine after we cut the cameras. What I really think.
That's right. But back to the XL Center lease. What are we thinking, and what are we hearing?
Well, it's kind of up in the air. We don't really know where it's going. The current kind of, I believe, has been writing about how Capital Sports Entertainment has recently been talking with the governor and the mayor, and Bobby Crawford's a part of that, and the Bushnell's a part of that, and they run the Rentschler Field currently. So they would just be adding the XL Center. Now AEG would be doing the opposite. They would be adding Rentschler Field, which they previously held prior to the Bushnell taking it over. Now, the Global Comcast runs, I guess, Mass Mutual Center, so they run the Springfield area arenas.
Okay.
Frank Russo is the guy who, I forget if he's an executive VP, I don't remember his exact title, but he used to run the XL Center from, I think it was like 78 to 83, 84, something like that. So back in its heyday, when it was a mall.
When there was people there.
There was commercial and commercial stores there, and people were actually coming in to shop there. Now you look at a bunch of white walls, and you're like, well, what happened? But
well, let me ask you guys. Because when you look at society, where we've been, my co-host John Ryan, by the way, a shout out to him.
Nice guy.
John goes back a long ways, and even I've watched documentaries about the old Springfield Indians playing at their old facility, packed house. Then the move to downtown Springfield hasn't really been successful. They're amongst the last in AHL attendance now.
And that's with the bunch of people they had this season, coming down from the NHL.
Oh, I know. Springfield's like one of the best teams in the NHL.
They got my Columbus Blue Jackets.
Exactly.
Columbus Blue Jackets. That's right.
Then you look at the decline in Hartford since the Whalers left in many ways. I wonder where that can be recaptured. Society's changed over 20 years, and
we also have to look at our economy.
Yep.
I mean, I'm always looking at, are we going to be able to afford tickets to go see them? Honestly speaking, you're talking up in Boston, you're paying, $100 a ticket to see a game. You can't bring a family of four to see. That's $400, and that's you haven't taken into parking. There has to be, and I think the XL Center has to partner with some of these parking areas where, okay, well, you have the ticket to the game. Well, that includes your parking at any of the surrounding lots, maybe a 10% discount on maybe some food, beverages, whatever you want to do. But you have to tie everything into it. And, I don't know what the downtown council's doing. I don't know if they're even together in this and what they're actually doing. It'd be nice to sit down with whoever gets the bid. And as the Booster Club and as the lobbying group of Hartford Hockey, just like the Connecticut Whale does or the Wolfpack Booster Club did, is get together with these people and try to get some plans together to include everyone, the restaurant district as well, because they're hurting. Yeah, it would be very, very helpful to get as many people behind it. Not just a Whaler thing, but something to get behind. A redevelopment of the city, especially in the sports district. I mean, there's a lot of
time spent on the entertainment district with the Wadsworth, and that's all great. I mean, that's great. But there's very little attention brought to the sports aspect in Hartford, and
they're very individual.
Yeah,
they're very scoped out, and
right.
they're very narrow
Right.
themselves, and it's you can't understand why.
Yeah.
One drives the other.
Right.
The Hartford stage has been downtown for years.
Yes.
Some of the best shows. You go to Bushnell if you want the high end of it, and
Right.
even the high end isn't high end because you're not in Manhattan.
Right.
Or Times Square. We have a great bunch of entities, and to revitalize, to make Hartford a destination is what the Booster Club is doing, and we've joined some other groups we've discussed in the past with the Hartford Bushnell Park Foundation, as well as the Hartford Alliance. We went to a dinner the other night, or a meet and greet the other night.
Right.
And,
yeah, that was very interesting, and there's a lot of important people. Most of the people we met at this Alliance meeting that was in downtown Hartford, they were actually from, they had offices outside of Hartford, but they come into Hartford because they want to make connections and network, and someone needs to kind of take these pieces and put them together and say, hey, we can actually create something downtown. You've heard a lot about the residential buildings within Hartford being built up, and that would be great to have, especially if UConn putting their campus in Hartford. I guess they're going to put their West Hartford campus moving to Hartford.
Exactly.
So you get some kind of downtown, young people downtown, in their 20s. They want to go somewhere. They want to enjoy something during the night. Hello, the Civic Center.
Exactly.
This XL Center is sitting right there. It holds 15,635 people.
Right.
Well, when you're talking a $100 ticket, Jerry's right on. I mean, when you look at, you can't really compare Hartford to Boston, but when you look at Red Sox tickets, what they've done with Fenway, it's pretty much the same expense. But you got 2 million people with 4 major universities plumbed in right there to fill a 40,000 seat stadium.
Sure.
We're looking to fill a 15,000 seat arena, but really with not being a world city like Boston, and as you said, without really having any continuity, any force working behind the scenes.
No residential.
We have trained our community in Hartford to turn out the light when they leave at 5 o'clock.
Right.
That's what's really happened. I've talked to the Bushnell Park people. A lot of the board members that I've spoken to are downtown people. They live downtown. After 5, they want to continue to tell people that after 5 o'clock the city doesn't stop, and to keep that flavor going, to me, is very important because we were at Vaughn's the other night. Happy hour. As soon as happy hour was done, it was done. There was nothing going on. It was a Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night. And you have to look at these places have to stay open. Johnny Vaughn's a great guy. He's been a friend of the Booster Club for a while. So to support him on a Wednesday night was very good for us. And Howard Baldwin came in and did a great job with that. And he believes in the city. And he's he even said geez, we got to do more.
God bless him. Between you and I don't have the faith that Howard does. I don't feel he got the proper treatment, and I would have bailed.
Well,
he has other avenues, other areas he could.
He does, and he's busy, but he reaffirmed his commitment to the hockey market in Hartford.
He absolutely did.
And I'm very interested to hear what his plans are for the future because he's not leaving. And we spoke to Junior as well, and Howard Jr. said the same thing. They're committed to Hartford hockey. And on what level, I couldn't tell you. And we'd be interested to see.
I think it came up when we were there together that when we had a little meet and greet and Idas were flying. I think we have to take a whole different approach to Hartford hockey and using the Green Bay model that we brought up at the meeting and the even the Winnipeg model.
It's funny you bring that up.
But it has to be for it to work in a small market area. Without that type of a model, I don't see how it can succeed.
This past week, I get another email from one of our viewers, and his name is Robert, and I appreciate you emailing us, and thank you very much. I'm glad we could connect. And he is a 65-year-old retired gentleman, and he said he'd be willing to buy stock in the Hartford Whalers if they were to come here. This is the 3rd person that has emailed us because they watched our show here on Nutmeg TV, and it's just amazing to sit there and see that this actually works because it's our team.
That makes it our team.
It's going to be our team, and we're going to sell stock. I think it's and correct me. You guys, all of you can email us. On the whalerwatch.com, you'll see the connections for it. And tell us what you think. You think we should sell stock for the Hartford Whalers? Do you think there's a deep pocket guy out there that's going to bring in the NHL again? There's rumors, there's speculation, there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah, you don't know.
I have a feeling that if If it wasn't true, the governor's office would have released a statement saying this isn't true.
Right.
Period. End of it. Right. There was too much talk about something that wasn't true.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Right. Right. And when you talk about buying stock in a team, you know, people tell me, well, you know, Hartford's not a Green Bay. I never said Hartford was a Green Bay.
Oh.
I said Green Bay has a model, and we can follow that model.
Right.
Because how to get people invested into Hartford hockey? Make them invested in Hartford hockey. I mean,
you can either be part of the problem or part of the solution.
Right, right.
Now jump on the bus and let's go. That's what you have to do.
Right.
Really, here's your ticket. Okay, your ticket is, okay, you buy 15 shares for the team.
Right. I mean, we always talk about the metro population of Hartford. Now, Hartford is only 17 square miles. There's only 121,000 people in the 17. Now, go 45 minutes outside of Hartford, and you got a fan base that's
has to be the state's team.
Over 1 million.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but you only need 15,000 people to get invested 41 nights a year.
I mean, Green Bay only has barely over 100,000, but you got to remember their market extends statewide.
Sure.
Madison, Milwaukee, the buses are flying in there.
Right.
I mean, people are driving.
And that's the other thing. You know, there's criticism about the busway, but you know what? For right now, this is our light rail system,
right? And
this has to work. You know, people, and I was a big skeptic about this, but you know what? If it gets people to the games, then in the end it'll work for all of us. If it's the hockey. You know, we have just about a minute left in the show. Carl, do you have anything you want to share with us? You had Peter on. God bless you, because you got a face for radio.
Peter was great. He saved the show. I had Peter and Bob Crawford on at the same time, in fact. But just again, want to extend an invite to you, and also a shout out to my co-host, best friend for 20 years, John Ryan.
And a great guy. And he came to the meeting the other night.
He's a hockey encyclopedia.
That's beautiful. We need him to come on the show.
Yeah, that's really who you need. But anyway, it's been great being with you guys.
And thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much for coming, Carl. Yep. Really appreciate it.
And as we close out this Whaler Talk episode, we thank all of you, all Whaler Nation. I'm sharing that from Mark Willand, who has Whaler Nation on Facebook and other. Thanks, Mark, for keeping the Whaler name alive and helping us with some highlights and so on. And we'll catch you next time. Check you next time.
Check you next time.
On Whaler Talk. We'll see you later.
Grab a glove.